couple things. Hey, She Sparklers. We got Nakia Evans. Oh, look, I can even see it happening. We got Nakia Evans here today with us. She has been in real estate for over a decade. And that is super exciting because she knows a lot of things. And she is not only practicing real estate, she is a coach and she has a whole program about personal development. And really, one of the best things I love about her is how authentic she is and how she does life from her heart and as she is. There is no pretending with this woman at all. And I'm so happy to have her here today. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Oh, and thank you for inviting me. I always think before these interviews and before these live, I'll be like, what are they going to ask me? What am I going to say? You know, what's going on? And the thing, I was like, okay, what if I was in a super round of questions and somebody says, well, what are you bad at? I was going to say pretending. So you got it 100%. I am not good at pretending. I have to be me. I am me. I am Nakia online, offline. I am Nakia all the time. So I appreciate you picking that up and noticing that. And that's one of the things that I tell everybody was the key to success, being yourself. You take you with you. That is something I always say. You take you with you at all times. It's important to be yourself. So thank you for picking that up. And I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we're excited to have you. Yeah, that is one of the things that I've also found out really works in life. You know, the more open your kind of like your portal is to your true self, and the more you let your light shine, the things that are meant to come to you come to you. It just
Yes.
seems like it's worked like that for me so far.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as I was trying to be somebody else, it just didn't. There was like all these roadblocks, and they life was
Mm-hmm.
hard, and I had to do all these things I didn't want to do. And then once I was like, actually, because it's not me at all. So,
Mm-hmm.
so tell us a little bit about like how did you get into real estate and like your story. It doesn't, it doesn't have to
Sure.
be, the entire story, but whatever you find that you think would be useful for other people to know, especially when they're kind of getting into real estate and they're finding their way.
Yep. So I got started in real estate after I purchased my second house. I purchased the first one when I was 23, and then 5 years later, we outgrew that house. Now, let me tell you who the we was, or the we is, actually. I was a teenage mom. I had 3 children at the age of 19. Okay, so it was myself and 3 little people. Okay, I had twins, so I only had 2 pregnancies, but I had twins. Okay, so that's that 3. You're like, what? What are you doing, the kid from 17 to 19? I saw your face. Listen, it was only twice, okay? All right, so there was me and 3 little people. Yeah, we bought a house. We bought a house I was 23. It was a 3 bedroom house, okay? Me, 2 other bedrooms, 3 kids. Wasn't going to work for that long. So at 5 years later, bought a second house. That realtor that helped me with that second house suggested I get a real estate license. And I was like, oh, okay. I think I could do this. I done did this twice. So let me help other people and let me make money. Because that's all I thought real estate was. I just help people buy a house and I make money. I had no idea that this was a business. Okay. That's my number one. I'm going to give tips. And if this is time to give a tip, this is a business. You own a business. As soon as you get a real estate license, you become a business owner. You become an entrepreneur. It is a business. If you don't run it like a business, you will not see success. So that is my number one tip right in the middle of my story, because that's who I am. I'm about to teach throughout this whole interview, probably. But I did get that license and I did not run it as a business. Okay, I'm teaching from my mistakes. Didn't run it as a business. I was a full-time employed person at all times that I had my real estate license between 2002 all the way to 2015. I probably sold 6 houses. I always got my continuing education, always renewed my license. I knew one day I was going to do something big with this license. So in 2014, I went back, took a second look at real estate. I was like, maybe I want to do this full time. I had time on my hands. I'm going to do this full time. So I enrolled in the Graduate Realtors Institute designation class. Yeah, I had plans too. Yes. I enrolled in that class. 0 sales, but I enrolled in that class. Okay. It was 4 parts when I took it. 4 parts. That last part allowed you to get what is in North Carolina called a BETH. It allowed me to get a license for a BETH if I, got all that education and had the experience and the time and all that good stuff. So I went for it all. That's who I am. I went either 0 or 100 and real quick. So I did the Graduate Realtors Institute. I learned every single thing there was to know about a business. And then guess what? I sold 17 houses in 1 year. Yes. When I found out I had a business, I sold 17 houses.
Okay, now you got to tell me. You got to tell me because I know it's easy to say, treat it like a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference? What was the big shift between not treating it like a business and treating it like a business? Like, what are the things that you did differently?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. So I started talking to people. I started following up with people. I had a schedule. I had a calendar. I had appointments. I did things to prospect. That was a big word. Oh, nobody told me about prospecting for years, right? I didn't even know I was supposed to be prospecting, right? I learned how to prospect. I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to have conversations. And more importantly, I learned how to turn those conversations into appointments. Okay. Now, turning that conversation into an appointment, guess what I did? I held events, experiences. I held home buyer workshops. But guess what? They weren't called home buyer workshops because where I come from, people weren't concerned about their credit a lot. Okay. So when I was prospecting, I found a lot of people that I had to say, no, you can't buy a house, or send them to the lender. And the lender was like, Nakia, be for real. Sometimes, the lender said that. Okay. Uh, I found people who I kept saying no to. And I was like, well, how do I turn this no into a yes? What better way? Get them prepared. Prepare them myself. Help them to help themselves. And then they will be ready. And with doing that, it also built a loyalty to me. I built a fan club. I built my own fan club. Okay. I helped people get their credit together so that they would be able to make major purchases, not just buy a house, not just get rental ready. Because listen, they had to get their credit together to also lease sometimes as well. But I help people buy cars as well. I didn't go to the car dealership, but once they fixed their credit, they could get a lower interest rate at the car dealership. So they were always happy with me. And
So,
guess what else?
oh,
They told all their friends.
yes, of course they did, because
Yeah.
you're like, everybody's complaining about the same thing. And they're like, you know what? You know who can help you? But you had to learn a lot about credit repair, which is not
Yes.
necessarily what we always know about as realtors, right?
Nope. So you picked it right on up. I had to have something. I had to have a unique value proposition. Look at all these real estate words and all these business words. I had to have a unique value proposition. So my value proposition was that I knew credit and I knew how to help people fix their credit. And shoot, I even helped people fix their credit for a little while. Listen, that became overwhelming, especially trying to sell 17 houses and help people fix their credit. It became overwhelming. So then I put systems in place. I got partners, I partnered up with the right people, and I built a team, not a real estate team, a vendor team that could help my clients also get to the finish line. So that was, one of the most important things other than running a business, being disciplined and having a schedule and prospecting. But you have to have a team of people that help you and your clients get to the finish line.
Yeah,
That's
it's so
important.
important. And when we start out, we have no idea where to start. And it seems
Mm.
like, this class jump started you, but also like your ingenuity too of like, how can I make this happen for me? Where are my people? And then honing in.
Yes.
So how long did it take, like, say you had a client who had bad credit, for you to set up a credit plan, repair plan for them, and to kind of like follow them along the path to the point where they could purchase and you saw the return on investment?
Okay. Well, listen here. I mean, that's a good question, girl. You got good questions. I like this. She's smart. All right. Listen. So the law says, in order to, when you're fixing your credit, the creditors have a certain amount of time to respond. Right. That's about 45 days. Sometimes it takes about two conversations, you know, two communications with creditors before things get fixed on your credit. So 90 days is about the least when someone has bad credit or has something that needs to be fixed in their credit. It's definitely a 90-day turnaround, right? Then you're probably in a real estate transaction for about 30 to 60 days, right? So it was no, I'm gonna have this credit workshop on the 1st of January and I had a sale on February 15th. No. So here comes some more advice. I had to utilize that CRM. I had to follow up. I had to stay in communication with these people. I had to have monthly newsletters. I had to have all type of things. And hold on one second. I got a little tickle in my throat. I'm trying to get whatever it is going around, and I don't want it. So excuse me. um, but so we had 45, and then we had about 30 to 60 days. We had follow-up, we had CRMs, we had staying in communication and offering resources and value during that time. All of the things that we as real estate agents hear leaders and mentors and coaches say, it's real. Let me look you guys straight in the eye. It is real. Just do what they or we are telling you guys to do. Old school real estate still works. CRMs work. Offering value and following up and prospecting works. It is not, a myth. It is not just something that we are telling you. It is what we have lived through, where we were successful, and where we need to stay. It is important.
There are lots of times when we know what we need to do and we don't do it anyway because it is daunting or annoying or scary, where there's like a fear of rejection and
Mhm.
all this stuff. There's all these like personal hurdles that we have to go through
Yes.
in order to do real estate. That's kind of why I love it, is because my most favorite hobby is personal development. And we have to like put ourselves out there all the time to do our job well. And we have to overcome like the resistance and the procrastination and the fear and like all the stuff, which is like just so exhilarating for some people and just
Mhm.
absolutely paralyzing for other people. So,
Yes.
and it also depends on where we are in our life and if we're backed up against a wall or not.
Mm.
I think that's kind of why I was successful, is because I said, okay, listen, I'm going to be the breadwinner, and here's the deal. And I've got a husband and two kids, and I am making the money, and here's how I'm going to do it. There was no plan B. And,
Okay.
and then once that happens, then you have to figure it out. And
Yes.
it kinda sounds like that's what you did, is when you went from having a second job to when you went to only deciding on real
Mhm.
estate. That's when it kicked in.
Yes, yeah, my back was up against the wall, but I also learned the things that I needed to do. And then not only did I learn them, I actually did them. Execution. If somebody's keeping track of these points and these tips, it's execution, it's action, it's learning and then doing. Don't just sit on the information, don't hold on to the information. You have to have an action plan. A lot of people say you have to have goals. Well, guess what? I'm going one step further. You need goals plus an action plan. You need a daily built in to-do list. You need productivity, which this year, what I did is I created a productivity journal for real estate agents. And that is for my agent, my network, my friends, my extended family, my team, everybody in my network. I created this with them in mind, because every day real estate agents wake up and try to figure out what to do. Well, my thought was, let me fix this problem. I'm gonna tell people what to do, even when I can't talk to them and tell them what to do. So I created this journal with a to-do list, a daily productivity list every single day. And it lists out the things that you are supposed to be doing in your real estate business and even in your personal life, personal development and professional development. I want to think about us as 360, the whole woman. You know, somebody probably has said the whole you, the whole woman. So sometimes we forget to eat because we're busy. We are not eating properly because we out showing houses. Well, I built a reminder for you to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack. I built a reminder for you to read books. And I built reminders for you to do the things you forgot to do yesterday. And I put it all into a book. And it's coming in a digital format too, for those that don't want to write in a book anymore. You know, here we go. The new school people, right? They don't want to write in the book. But I'm still a notebook. If I counted the amount of notebooks that I had right here on this table, y'all would laugh at me. So I will not share right now. But the key is to know what to do to be productive. Production is key.
Yeah. It took me the longest time to it's not that I didn't understand it. I'm just like everybody else. I mean, I was like, I would hear the thing, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm like, uh-huh. And then I would just sit there and stare and be reactive.
Yeah.
To whatever was coming at me, which once that changed, and it really took I don't know how, I wish there was a magic pill. I don't know how I could make myself hear something at the right time, but I have to kind of trust that I will be able to hear it when the time is right, because
Yeah.
like we hear this over and over and over and over, and then one day we hear it from someone and they've said it in a different way or on a different stage or in a different time of day, or like when we're well rested or not. And then we finally hear it and we're like, I'm going to do that thing. And there's so many things throughout my real estate career, my very long 2-year real estate career, that has that I have not done. And the majority I have not done. I have not done well. Like follow-up, I'm terrible. I mean, most people are.
Yeah.
Social media, I ended up doing it. And it was like one of those things, it was like I felt more comfortable doing it. I felt like I could actually follow through with it. And so I just did it consistently.
Yeah.
But it took a long time to find my thing. And then once you
Okay.
find your thing, of course it takes a while for it to actually convert and to go through.
Right.
So
And
like
you said something important just a second ago. Consistency.
yeah.
Consistency. Yeah. You don't have to be good at something to start, but you have to start something and become consistent at it in order to get better and become great at it. So start, be consistent, and just watch yourself and watch it grow as well.
Yeah, and it builds confidence too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when we're what's a Jackie, when we're a Jackie of all traits, then we don't really feel confident to put ourselves out there as if we
Right.
really put in the hours and dedication into one specific thing. Um,
Right.
it's just it's so intriguing. So then once you did your first year really like of intentional concentration in real estate, sold 17 houses, what happened after that? That was 2015.
That was 2016, actually. So
Okay.
2015, I took that Graduate Realtors Institute. And
Yeah.
by the way, let me tell you how many continuing education hours that gave me in Maryland as well. I forgot to tell everybody I'm from Baltimore when I relocated to Charlotte. We'll probably jump into that sooner or later. I had 86 continuing education hours. So I was serious and I was consistent, right? I was serious about this thing. And I put my back up against the wall because I invested a lot of money. That Graduate Realtors Institute, to be unemployed, well, I had a business, but I was unemployed. And that Graduate Realtor Institute, each part was about $300 to $500. I can't remember, so I'm not going to quote it. It was $395, $295, $395, or $495. I can't remember, but it was a lot of money to invest. So I put my back up against the wall, and I was like, I'm gonna at least get that money. Then I'm gonna pay for my license. I'm gonna pay for my board dues. I had to sell something, so that's how I ended up with 17. The next year, you ready for the number? No, the first year, I'm sorry, was 18. The second year was 27. 27 houses. Not on a team. Listen, looking back, I don't even know how I did that. I wasn't on a team, but I developed something that I will call a circle of friends. I had partners. So I started paying a showing agent. I started paying somebody to do some paperwork for me. I paid somebody to show the houses. I always did the contracts myself. I never wanted anybody to do contracts or the inspection notice. That was very important to me. Those were the key pieces, writing the offer and negotiating during the inspection. I never gave that up. But like the final walkthrough, the showing of the homes, I partnered with other agents who were struggling in their business. So I helped some other agents. I trained some other agents with that as well. And they helped me. And that was how I was able to do that. There's no way in the world. I mean, I'm not going to say that because nowadays we have agents that are closing hundreds of deals by themselves. Well, with, people in the background, assistants, virtual assistants, all that good stuff. But back in 2017, selling 27 houses, not on a team, was a big, big deal. Okay. So I don't know how I did it. I hope to do it again one day when I want to sell houses. I think I love this more. But if I ever have to sell houses again, I need to sell 27 a year.
How did you do that with children?
Oh, so remember, I was a teenage mom, right? So my children were of age in don't forget, they were of age by 2015, 2016, 2017. They were in college, actually. So that is what gave me my time to shine. So ultimately, somehow, some way, this could have been a book somewhere along the line, right? This is progression. It could be a book. I'm thinking about writing a book, right? But that gave me enough time. My kids were now away at college too. The twins stayed on campus, and my oldest was already in his own place around this time. So I had time freedom a little bit, as much as possible. And I was also able just to make my own schedule, being an entrepreneur as well. I kind of made my own schedule, and I decided what I would do. And most importantly, I decided what I wouldn't do. That's real important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old right now.
Okay.
And my parents down the road that are 80. So they're, they need a little bit of help right now. And they're trying to be as responsible as possible. But they need me pretty soon. So that's something I'm thinking about. Like, how am I going to do all the things? And but yeah, so can we talk about that? The things you're not gonna do? Like how did you when did you get to the point, or was there a certain thing that happened that got you to the point that said, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore? That is where I draw the line.
When I started tracking return on investment, because you said that a little while ago when we talked about these credit workshops and how long it takes to close on these clients. When I started seeing a lesser return on investment, I had to slam the brakes. I had to stop doing certain things. Like I told you, I would help people fix their credit. I'll make an appointment. They come in on a Saturday. They come in on a Wednesday. We sit down with their Credit Karma credit report, and we figure some things out, and I give them a list of things to do. Well, when you are servicing 5 to 7 clients at a time, helping people with their credit can't be number one. So I had to outsource that. So I knew I couldn't do that. And I had to be brave enough because, I had started something that I couldn't finish. I had to be brave enough to slam the brakes and I had to be brave enough to say no. The other way, just not on return on investment, I had to start respecting myself and my time to know what I could do, what I couldn't do, what I would put up with, and what I wouldn't put up with. That's when I knew. Once I started respecting myself a little more, and my time a little more, I could then build the confidence to say no. And we as women, let's just get it straight. We have a problem saying no sometimes. We want to be the end all be all for everybody. We want to be superheroes. We want to resolve all problems. We want to be we think we want to be the best that we can be by doing all things. No, we are at our best when we are limited. That's a whole nother conversation, but we are at our best when we are limited, when we say no, and when we put ourselves first.
Absolutely. I mean, the hardest time I had personally was when I didn't have the money. And
Oh,
so people were asking me to do things that were really like Easter. I went out and I showed homes on Easter to a woman who may or may not buy a home, and it was an hour away. But I was
mm,
like, I cannot say no. So my kids are doing the Easter egg hunt, and I'm like, okay, I'll see you
mm,
later. She never ended up buying. And I think about that till this day. And
yeah,
it was because it was just the possibility that she could. And like at the time,
yeah,
I felt like I really did not have a choice. And I
yeah,
noticed that I speak to clients differently now, that I
mhm,
do have a choice. So by having that consistency and treating it like a business gave me the
mhm,
choice to be able to have the boundaries, to have the self-respect, to be able to say no. But it takes
yes,
a little bit of time, and it's really hard to tell somebody in the beginning too, when like you're desperate for the money to
mhm,
pay
mhm.
bills, to say no.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Desperation makes us make bad decisions, by the
Totally.
way. But we, once again, that business mindset, we have to think about it like the bank. Can you go get your money from the bank on a banking holiday? No, they're closed. I mean, you can get it from the machine, but you can't walk in the doors and talk to somebody face to face. You may not be able to get somebody on the phone. Now they have Chat GPT, so we could talk to Chat GPT on them days, right? But you just can't sometimes. And sometimes you have to use the comparison model, or comparison communication model is what I call it. You have to compare yourself to big business. Don't think of yourself as a small business. Yeah, we like to be small businesses when we take advantage of that. But I think of myself as a big business, a big box business like Best Buy, like Target, like a big old franchise, right? And when I think about the boundaries that they set, they close their doors, they lock their doors, they don't answer the phone. So why should we? When we start thinking of ourselves again as a business, when we get that business mindset, things generally will still happen. Like if you would have told that lady no on Easter, guess what? She probably would have respected you more. Okay. She would have respected you more. She would have respected your time, and she would have known what was important to you. And now she would never have even asked you about Easter again. And, 50-50 chance she could have bought a house on another day. But, we don't even want to worry about that. But we just want to set up some boundaries for ourselves and some expectations, set expectations with your clients during a consultation. And in that way, she would have known, or you would have just had to remind her, hey, Easter, I'm going to spend some time with my kids. I too made tons of mistakes when it came to spending time with kids. I worked a full-time job. Remember when I told you about that? When my kids were young, and I worked a full-time job that required me to travel when they were young. So I made those mistakes, and I feel even worse. I made them for a business that I'm even no longer even next to, working with. But everybody tells us we're supposed to be making money, and making a lot of money makes us better than the next person. That is not true. That is not true. That is no longer true. If it was true for us in our past, it is no longer true. What's important is the freedom to say no, and time spent with family, time spent with friends and time spent doing what you want to do. I work to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and with whom I want to do it. That is my sole purpose in life right now. And that's it.
That is exactly how I feel. Exactly.
Yes.
I appreciate money.
Mhm.
I'm not going to push it away, but
Right.
what's most important to me is the freedom of choice and the freedom
Yes.
to live my life as I wish to live it with my loved ones.
Right. Yep. You got a 5-year-old, you can go spend a day with the 5-year-old. You got an 80-year-old, you got a
Yeah.
spotlight. Listen, it's limitless the things that you could be doing. Yes, we want the money. We even need the money. Let's be real. We got to pay
Yeah.
bills. We need
Yeah.
to eat every day. We need to drink. We need to
Mhm.
pay for this internet we're on. We need money. But do we really need money at the expense of memories? At
Yeah.
the expense of experiences, at the expense of losing touch with the people that we care most about. If
Yeah.
I could erase it all, I would have known this a long time ago. I didn't know it a long time ago. I didn't
Well,
know it.
that's not the message that we're getting.
Right,
Nobody
right,
gives us that message,
right.
especially as women. I mean, because we are, as women, we are expected to, well, first of all, keep it together, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always that great at.
Yeah.
Manage the house, manage the kids'
Mm-hmm.
education and what they're doing and their
Mm-hmm.
soccer, whatever they're doing.
Yes.
Think about the food that we're all going to eat. Now, luckily, I don't have to always do that. But then,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're like, okay, we're gonna run this business too, and we're
Yeah.
gonna make sure and that all these people are handled, and then we're gonna make sure that we do it legally. And
Right.
we're gonna, it's a lot of pressure. It's a
Right.
and then we're gonna talk to people we don't always want to talk to every day, and it's just a lot of export. And then
Yes.
at the end of the day, you're like,
Mm,
and then you have to
right.
give yourself something back, and you're like, I have nothing to give. Like,
Right, right. I
it's
don't have time for that.
it's kind of wild. So I'm kind of curious, like, where your journey went from there. Okay, so you had 27 houses. This is
Okay.
2017.
20 that yeah, 2017. Oh, wait a minute. I'm a little bit off. Wait a minute.
Okay,
2017 it was 18.
okay,
2018 it was 27.
okay.
At the end of 2018, here it goes. Here you ready?
Yep.
A U-turn. The president of the company that I was affiliated with, um, offered me a position as a BIC.
Mm.
Oh, and I was like, Lord have mercy. I just got my mojo. I just start winning awards. I just start making all this money. I just was making my own schedule. I was independent. I had not worked a corporate job since 2011 or 2014. And you want me to do what? You want me to listen? In Maryland, the BIC is responsible and also the highest penalty a BIC has for agents that are not supervised properly or that do things unethical is jail.
Oh
I said,
no,
you want me to risk my license that I had all these years by myself for people that I don't even know? And if they do something bad, I could be going to jail with
that
them
sounds that
or
sounds
without
horrible.
them. But guess what? I didn't even tell you from 2015 to 2018 through 2018, I had become a servant leader. I started volunteering on committees and the board of directors. I was on my state board of directors. I was in women's council, realtors. I was at the local board. In 2019, I was actually set to become the president of Women's Council. So that president of that company threw this right in my face. He said, "Oh, and I had graduated, or I was in all these leadership programs, right, with these associations." He said, "Well, why are you taking all those classes and programs, and why are you doing all that leadership stuff if you don't want to be a leader?" I was so embarrassed. I was like, I wanted to lead my own self. I wanted to maybe, just maybe, I wanted to build my own brokerage somewhere down the line, right? I was training for that. I wasn't training to run your business, but I was so embarrassed because that was a good question. That was a real good question, right? I mean, we like, how dare you? But that was a real question. Why was I doing all that? So again, I hit a U-turn and I said yes. But guess what? That yes prepared me for where I am today. Believe it or not, I got paid, I got experience, I got the training, I got everything I needed to be the leader that I am today because I said that yes. Then, even though it put a halt in my plans, and things changed, but it was really, really good. I loved it. I actually got my first taste of paid leadership, not servant leadership. I got my first taste on a big scale, financial big scale too. It was a big scale. Everything was beautiful. But guess what? I didn't know I was stressed out. I was having fun. I was going to events. I was having meetings. I was prospecting. I had appointments. I was meeting people for dinner. I was taking agents out to dinner. Y'all hear that food is in there, right? I was eating lots of food and drinking lots of drink, entertaining, having experiences. We had learning experiences. Y'all know there's always food and drinks at vendor events. Oh my goodness. I was having the most fun. But as a leader, and I'm going to say this for all the leaders on the call, it's not a bad thing. I want you to be prepared in real estate leadership and running a brokerage and firms and being a big. All we dealt with was problems. I didn't know that. Nobody told me I was the problem solver. That should be the name of that position. We were problem solvers all day long. Agents had problems. Co-agents had problems. The other broker or other BICs are contacting me, telling me what my agents are doing wrong. Clients are calling. Customers are calling. Oh my goodness, we had more responsibility, but it was all just negative coming in. Remember, we talked about that coming in? It was so much negativity coming in. All the fun disguised the negativity that was coming in.
Oh, you was kind of like getting hoodwinked because you're like, look what we're gonna give you. It's gonna be so fun. But in essence, like you're a therapist and you're taking in everybody's energy all day, and then you're
Yeah.
supposed to go have fun. That's hard. That's hard.
Right. But I didn't realize it until COVID hit and we had some time to think and time to sit still. And that's when I started realizing that, hey, is this the best use of my time? Is this the best use of me mentally? Am I even built for this? Mentally, not am I built for it, because I was built for it. I did it. I won awards. I got bonuses. I got everything. But was I fulfilled? And was I really, truly happy? I didn't have time to really think those things out until COVID hit and the world stood still. And right around COVID, I realized that's not really what I wanted to do. So I had to, figure out something else to do, which I'm still in leadership, found something totally different, still in leadership. I just don't have the responsibility or the going to jail over my head anymore. Kind of built my own thing, and I'm in and out of it with freedom and with time, my time on my own time and on my own terms. So I love it. I love leadership, but I didn't like the stress and the negativity involved.
So then after you were a BIC, then how did you transition back in and what do you do now?
Oh, well,
Yeah, tell me everything.
well, somebody at another brokerage firm contacted me on Facebook and was like, hey, I read about you in a magazine. You're like a recruiting genius over there at that company. But you should look at another company. And if for any reason you have any problems at your current company, then take a look at this, and this may be good for you. And I looked at it. I listened to their speech. Remember, the world was still, so I had time to listen. I was bored. I should say, thank goodness for boredom. I was bored, and I took a meeting. I watched a Zoom call, an explanation call of the business, and I was like, wow, It sounds good. In my background, I didn't tell you too, in all these years of, me trying to make money and hustling, I got into network marketing. And I sold Mary Kay. I sold some longevity. I sold beauty products. I sold natural products. I did Mary Kay. I did the skincare parties with Mary Kay. So network marketing was in my genes. It was in my genetics, I think. I
Oh,
loved
before
network
real
marketing.
estate?
During real estate, all
Okay.
these years, all these years from 2008 was actually my first network marketing company. All the way through up until about 2021, 2022, I was involved in network marketing, some type of company or some type of, product that I loved. I decided to sell. And so when I bumped into, I just say EXP, I bumped into EXP. And EXP was real estate and a touch of network marketing, building a network. It was building a team, building a business, helping other people, and being rewarded for helping other people. So it was two things that I absolutely loved combined into one. Now,
Yeah,
I know
and you're
people,
already in your comfort zone too. I mean, you're like, oh,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
seem.
people don't like to say that, but I love saying it. Listen, it's the two things combined into one, two business models over in one. We that have these backgrounds like this, we love it, we enjoy it, and we are not ashamed that it's good for us. Okay, a lot of people, don't like to say it, but I will venture to say it is the two things I love. And it's the two things I'm good at. And again, it's my comfort zone. And basically one doing one thing, doing the other. I'm running a business. I'm running two businesses now under one umbrella.
Do you still do production at all or no?
Well, I moved from Baltimore, Maryland to North Carolina, and I've had a North Carolina license since 2021. I'm happy to tell you guys I've had a license in North Carolina since 2021. And guess what? I sold one house in 2023.
So proud of you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm happy about that because I am out of production. Even as a BIC, I was a non-competing BIC. So that meant I didn't work, I didn't work my sales business. I just helped other agents. So I was pretty excited that when the opportunity was put in front of me, that I could still sell a house. I done learned all this stuff. I know the forms, I know the laws. I'm teaching continuing education class, right? So I know all the stuff. But I was so happy that I was able to execute. A little while ago, you said you had so many things up in your head that you just, you want to be able to use them, or you use them at the right time. That stuff is like, this is our computer. So we got all this stuff stored in the computer, and just us learning and being prepared before it's time, it works. It does work. I swear. I was able to sell a house. I knew all the lingo. I knew about that due diligence. I knew about earnest money. I knew everything I needed to know because I had been in it and been learning it even before I needed it, or never even thinking that I would sell houses, because I'm like a coach and a trainer and a sponsor and a business partner now. But I did it.
So what is your day? What does a day for you look like now? Like, what do you do now?
So I support other agents basically in their business. I partner up with real estate agents to help them. So similar to like what a BIC is. However, it's kind of like a BIC, a coach, and a mentor combined into one. So I help agents, whether they are new or if they already been in the business, I help them change their business model, their business mindset. I help them with the their day-to-day roles as real estate agents. I'm also doing some training, some speaking. I do things like this. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be in Winston-Salem at the Regional Association of Realtors, and I'm leading an event that is a realtors educational event. We are going to be there from 9:30 to 12. This is a shameless plug, right? If people are seeing this before January 17th, shameless plug. Meet me at the Winston-Salem Regional Association of Realtors if you are in the area. It's a free event. the Buyer's Agent Boot Camp. So we are going to have the discussion about being buyer's agents and how we are going to sustain into the future with being buyer's agents. We're having that discussion tomorrow. Yes.
It's only in person?
It is only in person. I know. Listen, you guys, it costs money to hold these events online.
For sure.
The production part of it costs so much money that, you know, sometimes when you hold events, if you have to charge, the people aren't going to show up. So that's the problem. But I can easily duplicate this online, so no worries. Somewhere down the road, maybe with She Sparks, we can do this online as well.
We could do a seminar. That would be
Yes.
awesome. Okay,
Yes,
so
I'd love.
you also have the daily productivity journal that you have online that you can buy, and we'll link everything down below. You also have your website right there. Everyone can see too. So you can refer back to that. But like, if you had to give advice, we have maybe like 10 minutes left. If you had to, like, if you would graciously give us 10 minutes of like advice for someone who's struggling, who is just not able to get the wheels turning with some of these things that you think could really move the needle in their business. What would you tell them?
Okay, and I'm gonna keep track of them because I have more than 10. So I'm gonna write while I'm talking.
Okay.
The first number one thing I would tell them is to plan your day. That is everything. Plan your day. When I had to plan my day, or when I planned my day as an entrepreneur, I wasn't even in full-time real estate yet. This was 2012. In network marketing, I planned my day. I told myself what time to take a shower. I told myself what time I would eat lunch. I told myself what time I would look at email. I told myself what time I would get on Facebook. Back then, we were on Facebook and Twitter back then, right? I don't even think Instagram was in the play yet. I told myself everything that I would do. I made a list every single day, or even one time a week, of what the week would look like. And I had to stick to it, and I had to track it. So I had to look for those check marks. I had to look for those strike throughs. If I didn't have enough check marks and strike throughs, I knew I was doing something wrong, and I had to reprogram or replan. Okay. Or I looked at it and was like, "Ooh, I don't feel good about myself." And we all know we want to feel good about ourselves. So the more check marks and strike throughs and more things we completed, we felt better. So number one is plan your day. And I guess number two is track. Track what you're doing. Track your numbers. Track your activities. Track your success. Track what you are not successful in. Track what you are not doing. But planning and tracking. Tracking is going to be number two. Number three is I'm going to go back to prospecting. Because without people, we can't have a business, right? So prospecting, talk to people, simply talk to people. If you are talking to them online, if you are talking to them on the phone, if you are talking to them via email, if you are talking to them at events, prospecting, talking to people, networking, all of that. Get new people, meet new people all the time. That is actually number four. Meet new people, talk to new people. Add new people into your database. This is a people business. People equals productivity. Without the people, we are not going to be productive. Let's be clear. There is no way. Number five is you need some systems. Okay. Anything you do more than one time, make it a system. Write it down, write it out. We have these iPhones with all this technology in it. My notes, I probably have more notes than text messages. Every time I think anything, as a matter of fact, this page I'm writing right now is going to be a note. Have systems. Rinse and repeat is key. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat on what is working. Okay, rinse and repeat on what's working. Once you develop that system, if it's working, how do you know if it's working? Because you're tracking. So you are, what's going to be number six? Accountable. Accountable to yourself first. Accountability, but accountable to yourself first. and then to everybody else. Okay? I love your face right there, because guess what? That's the one thing we forget. We try to be accountable to everybody else. What everybody else says matters, what everybody else thinks matters. But once we are able to become accountable to ourselves and then others, then I guess number 7 could be get an accountability partner, a mentor, or a coach. I don't care if you sold 50 houses next year, there's 60 houses the following year and 75 the following year. And how are you going to improve yourself? By talking to someone else and working some of these things out with somebody else. So that's coaching, mentoring, and partnerships. Collaboration, probably. We want to, even though that's a little more than collaboration, let's stick collaboration right there, because I probably got a few more to go. Number 8, I was going to say, know when to say no. Know when to say no. Know when to say no. This almost feels like a coaching session. This is actually what coaching sessions look like, you guys. I'm a coach and I'm available.
Right here.
All right, you guys, for coming here today, guess what? You got some free coaching. And Beth didn't even ask me to do that, but here we go. Let me see. We said know when to say no. Number 9 is don't forget about you. I want to say don't forget about you. And when I say that, I mean personal development. I mean your family. I mean your relationships. I mean your mental health. I mean your spirituality. I mean, don't forget about you. Think about yourself, put yourself first. And when you put yourself first, that's going to help you plan your day. It's going to help you track your day, like track what you're doing. It's going to help you with prospecting. I mean, it's going to help you meet new people. Don't forget about you. Now you got me going to have to make a whole YouTube video on this.
Yeah. Whole other course. You can just
right.
You could do a video on each one of those, actually.
I know, right? Woo. This is a whole agenda for a whole other meeting, right?
Like
let me see, where is the cherry on the top right here? Don't forget about you, know when to say no. I want to go back to evaluate everything that you're doing. Evaluate what you're doing right, evaluate what you're doing wrong, evaluate if any of these things are working. I want you to evaluate consistently. I have
a question around evaluate. So we're tracking, right? We're tracking with numbers, we're tracking with spreadsheets, we're looking at return on investment, how much time, how much money did it take, and we're evaluating. And there's different ways to evaluate. So we got the number part, but then we also probably have a feeling part to it too.
Yeah. Oh, you are on the same page. Does this feel good to me?
Yeah.
Does this feel right to me? It's kind of going hand in hand with don't forget about you.
Yeah.
Is this you? Is this what you want to do? Or is this what somebody told you you're supposed to do? I still fight with my mom. My mom has this way of life. Like, she got right out of high school and she was employed by the state, and she's worked that same job for 49, 50 years, not at the same location, of course, but for the state of Maryland in different places. And so her evaluation of me, running a business, no steady paycheck, coming from somebody else, right? I have to make my own paycheck, right? Her evaluation of me is different. Every time I tell her that, I don't have a W-2, she's like, oh God, what are you going to do now? I'm like, lady, I run my own business. I have money. My bank account stacks up, right? Every time I tell her, oh, she's like, well, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, so don't use somebody else's evaluation. Evaluate consistently, but have it coincide with you and your emotions, your feelings. Do I feel like I'm doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it? And am I getting back what I want out of this. Not what he wants out of this, not what she wants out of this, not what the kids want out of this, but am I getting back what I wanted out of this? That is the evaluation I want you to do. I want you to worry about if it feels good and if it feels right for you.
Mm, I love that so much. And
Yes.
then you're more likely to do it too. So if
Yes.
it aligns with a good feeling and
Mhm.
your authentic self and an action that moves the needle in your business, then you got a winner.
Yes,
A
yes, yes,
winner. Oh, this
yes.
has been so wonderful. Thank you
I
so much.
know.
When we share this, we're going to share your website as well down below so
Okay.
that everybody can easily find you. And if you want to purchase the journal, you can easily do that because, yeah, she has. Oh, you got to hold it closer so it's not
Oh,
so.
yeah, that's right. Can you
Okay.
see it?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Well, a little bit far. It's
No,
okay.
it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're gonna put a picture out, but it's a real book. The journal is for 3 months. I feel like 3 months gives you enough time to track and evaluate, and it's undated. So don't worry about because it's January 16th or it's undated, but it's 3 months worth of tracking, a to-do list. I mean, the budget is in there because guess what? We ain't talking anything about money, but we need to know about money in order to run a business, right? So we track business expenses, we track goals, we track social media, what we're putting on social media, what we're eating. We track everything and we write it all down. And I've gotten very good testimonials and reviews. I'll be sure to share that on social media over the next few days. Actually, there's a video on my Instagram, Moving with Nakia, that somebody else did, and you can kind of see what I put together and their feeling when they received it and what they did. I just put that on Instagram earlier. But I
Beautiful.
thank you
I'll
guys.
link
I
it
thank
down
you.
below.
Oh,
Thank you
yes, for
so much.
having
It's been
me
a pleasure.
today.
We've learned a
Yes.
lot. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to send me a copy of this. I'm going to put it on my YouTube as well.
Oh, great idea. Okay. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
Awesome.
you. All
Talk soon.
right. Everybody have a good day. Thank
Ciao
you.
for
See you
now.